capital contract and hadn't released my record, and I sat there, and so it was quite a thrill this year when some of those dreams really happened.
A music legend, a seductive icon with a voice full of power, and a woman once admired across the world for her strength, allure, and unique style. But that very woman, Bobbie Gentry, spent over 50 years swallowing her tears because of the men who silenced her, enraged her, and betrayed her. These are the names she hated the most. And now, at 82 years old, Bobbie has decided to speak. One man exploited their relationship to blackmail her, just for a few stolen nude photos backstage. Another, out of selfishness, led her into addiction just to control her and turn her into a money-making tool. And then there was one man of whom Bobbie said bluntly, "If I had a gun that day, he wouldn't be alive." He didn't just betray her, he tormented her, using power to push her into the shadows. Why did Bobbie keep these secrets for decades? Who silenced her with power? And which names in the music industry are about to be exposed? Right now, you're about to hear a story even Bobbie Gentry's most loyal fans have never known. A story never revealed in the press, never spoken in any interview. Stay with us, because in just 30 seconds, you'll hear the first name on the list of the 5 men Bobbie Gentry hated the most.
California, and a little bit different. I certainly talk different. And the kids at first.
The first name. The man Bobbie Gentry hated to her very core. Not a stranger, but someone she once loved deeply, shared tender moments with, and trusted completely. Glen Campbell. He was the first to take Bobbie from an unknown independent singer to a music icon. But he was also the first to betray her so cruelly. We were once the perfect couple, like in a romantic movie. But I ended up loving a man who only used me. When Bobbie first began to rise to fame, Glen appeared like a beacon of light. He came with promises of love, bright plans for the future, and a contract she never read closely. We collaborated musically. He took me out, told me we'd make history together. I didn't know that contract gave him total control over my career and public image. From that moment on, Bobbie lost the right to decide anything for herself. Glen wasn't just her lover, he was her manager. And whenever she dared to choose differently, he would smirk and say, "Don't forget who put you on top." Everything Bobbie had, her music, her fame, even her appearance, fell into Glen's hands. "You want attention? Then let me hold everything." He dictated what she wore, what she sang, even who was allowed to touch her. Bobbie once said, "I lost faith in myself. Every day was a battle against loneliness. I'd sit in a room, stare out the window, and wish I could disappear. But I couldn't. I still had a career waiting." Every early album bore Glen's name. Every dollar she made flowed to him. She even had to borrow money just to survive. There were times I wanted to strangle him. And when I woke up, I felt free. Glen didn't kill her dreams with fists. He killed everything inside her with icy control, never needing to scream or strike. When she pushed back, he'd simply sneer and say, "Don't forget who made you a star." And so, she sank into shame, isolation, and despair. When it was all over, Glen walked away, taking everything she had built, her copyrights, her creations, her soul. He didn't kill me with violence. He killed me with silence. And a look cold and cruel as stone. I thought I had hit rock bottom. But I was wrong. The next man dragged me even deeper, into long nights of desire and dim lights where I no longer knew who I was. Who's next in the list of the 5 men Bobbie Gentry hated the most? Leave a dot in the comments and tell us what you think. Hit like and subscribe, because the deepest betrayal, the darkest secret, is still waiting just ahead. Just when I thought I had understood betrayal, the next one appeared. No shouting. No violence. Just coldness and selfishness. Jim Stafford, the man I once trusted completely, the husband I gave my heart to, believing he would be the final safe harbor in my life. I thought that relationship would be everything. We had sweet moments, promises, and plans to build a future together. But all of it was a beautiful shell. The relationship quickly deflated into tension and conflict, like a balloon losing air. He said he loved me, but I was just a tool for him to use. Jim didn't need to hit me or lie with every word. He only needed control, of my actions, my voice, my life. That feeling of losing control, of being erased, I no longer recognized myself. He betrayed me not just emotionally, but made me feel guilty anytime I tried to stand up for myself. There were nights I just cried, wondering if I could ever escape his shadow. In those nights with him, my body became nothing more than a device. Every time he came near, I felt the possession in his touch, in those burning, counterfeit kisses. Sweet but cold, restrained but inescapable, it made me feel like I didn't exist anymore. I once thought he'd stand by me. In the end, he was the one who made me fall the hardest. After our breakup, everything I had crumbled. My faith in love, happiness, and even myself, shattered by his selfishness. Jim Stafford didn't have to raise a hand to hurt me. He only needed the cruelty of silence, the cold stare whenever I disobeyed. And each time I pushed back, he'd just smirk and remind me, "Don't forget who gave you a chance." When it all fell apart, he walked out of my life, leaving me alone in the dark, with wounds that wouldn't heal and trust that would never return. So who's next? Who else is on the list of the 5 men Bobbie Gentry hated the most? Leave a dot and share your thoughts in the comments. Hit like and subscribe, because the most painful betrayal, the darkest secret, is waiting just ahead. Robert Ellis Silberstein. A man I once trusted, to whom I gave my whole heart and career, only for him to break me in the most ruthless way. It wasn't coldness. It wasn't cruel words. He manipulated me with power, as if I were nothing more than an asset, a tool to serve his ambition. I believed he would be the ideal husband, but in reality, love was just an excuse. An excuse to control every step I took. He didn't need to hit me or make me cry. He only had to keep everything in his hands and push me into a corner. You think we're the perfect couple? You're just a tool I control. As I began to realize what was happening, he'd simply smirk and continue pulling the strings, choosing my roles, shaping my career, steering my life. He stole my freedom and turned me into a ghost inside my own existence. I gave you everything. And you still don't get it. You belong to me, Bobbie. His control didn't stop there. He didn't just take away opportunities, he drained my strength and robbed me of autonomy. Every time I tried to rise, he'd look at me and remind me, "I brought you into this world, and if you resist, I'll bury you. You want to leave? Everything you have, you owe to me. Without me, you're nothing." I trusted him too much. I loved him too much. But in the end, I was nothing more than a puppet in his hands. When he walked away, he took everything I had ever built. A relationship built on power, manipulation, and nothing resembling love. And I was left with nothing but the shattered remains of a trust that would never be whole again. I thought after Robert, I'd never love anyone again, until Tony Joe White walked in, not with promises, but with music and flesh. He was the kind of song I never want to hear again. Tony entered my life like a southern storm, intense, hazy, and full of temptation. That deep voice, the scent of leather, the gaze like midnight fire, he made me forget my own mind. The nights we spent together felt like we were writing a hot blues song, strong whiskey, sliding guitar riffs, and sweat-slicked skin. But eventually, I realized. I wasn't a love song. I was just a demo track he used to fill a void. Tony never promised anything, and that was the trap. He didn't need to betray me, because he never truly chose me. He came in deep and left cold. And I, like an unfinished melody, was never released. Don't you get it? I'm a drifter. You're the dreamer. I thought I was strong. But when he disappeared, I cried, not because I lost him, but because I let myself be fooled by a man who only loved his own shadow. Tony Joe White, I don't hate you. I just hate the way you made me love you, then vanished like a song with no words. If someone has ever shattered your heart with silence colder than goodbye, leave a dot in the comments below. And if you want to hear the final part, where I face the cruelest man of all, hit like and subscribe. Because the 5th man was the deepest wound of my life. Not everyone who brings you into the spotlight wants to see you shine brighter than them. Lenny LaCour was the first man who helped me step into the studio. He once said, "I didn't just see talent in you, Bobbie. I saw money." And he was right. He turned me into a phenomenon. But in return, I had to accept his rules. Rules that were never written, but lived in every glance, every subtle touch on my shoulder after a recording session, every quiet invitation to those private meetings in hotel rooms. At first, I thought it was just the price of success. I gritted my teeth and endured it, because I wanted to sing. But soon I realized I had lost control of myself. He dictated my music, decided my image, and when I finally said no, he buried everything. Not playing the game anymore? Fine. Let's see how many stations still spin your records. Within a week, my name vanished from playlists. Contracts dissolved. I was frozen out. He didn't need to destroy me with scandal. He just needed to cut the mic. Lenny LaCour didn't betray me with love, he betrayed me with my career. And that wound cut the deepest. If you've ever been manipulated by the very person who once lifted you up, leave a dot in the comments below. I used to think I'd stay silent until the day I died. But no. I can't let them rewrite my story with lies. For decades, Bobbie Gentry was a symbol of mystery. But behind the spotlight, there was blood, there were tears, there were wounds that never healed. 5 men, each in his own way, tried to control her, possess her, manipulate her, and extinguish her voice. They didn't kill her with knives. They killed her with silence. With coldness, with power, and with touches that never got named. But today, at 82, Bobbie doesn't have to be gentle anymore. She doesn't have to preserve her image. She doesn't have to stay silent to be loved. She chose to speak. In her own voice. With truths no one ever dared to touch. I don't need anyone's approval anymore. I only need freedom. And if you, the one watching this video, have ever felt controlled, manipulated, or stripped of your voice, know this, you are not alone. Leave a dot in the comments if you've ever stayed silent like Bobbie. And if you believe these truths deserve to be heard, hit like and subscribe, because there are still so many women out there, waiting for their chance to be heard.
Born in the heart of New York on January 28, 1950, Bobbie Benton, then a young Barbara Klein, grew up in an educated Jewish family where everything was planned according to the norm: serious studies, stable work, safe living. Her father, Dr. Victor Klein, was a disciplined man who had served in the army. Her mother, Helen, was a meticulous accountant who believed in numbers rather than unrealistic dreams. Little did they know that their only daughter was nurturing something completely different. When the family moved to Sacramento, California, a land of freedom and temptation, Bobbie began to change. Even while still in school, she made everyone turn their eyes with her beauty that mixed classic charm with provocative purity. At the age of 16, while her friends were still shyly preparing for prom, Bobbie entered a world not for the faint-hearted: modeling. At first, it was just to earn extra income. But who could have guessed that from those seemingly harmless photo shoots, Bobbie opened the door to a life full of glamour, and also mysteries that have never been revealed. In the late 1960s, the golden age of American glamour and rebellion, a face began to creep onto the small screen and quickly turned the heads of Hollywood: Bobbie Benton. At the time, she was just a young student, studying, working part-time as a model, and taking a fitness class like any other girl. But fate chose her, and chose that fateful moment. In 1968, at the age of 18, Bobbie landed a seemingly unknown extra role on the television show Playboy After Dark. No one expected that this brief appearance on set would become the turning point that would change her entire life. There, she met Hugh Hefner, the most powerful man in the media, the boss of the Playboy empire. Nearly 3 decades older than her, but Hefner's eyes at that time were not just ordinary admiration. In front of him was a girl with a strange beauty, both innocent and sharp, both sexy and not ostentatious. And Hefner knew, this was not just a woman, but the next icon of the era. From Barbara Lynn Klein, she became Bobbie Benton. The name was personally chosen by Hefner, as a perfect media hit, reminiscent of the Barbie doll model that was making waves. But Bobbie was not just a beautiful shadow. With unlimited support from Hefner, she quickly broke through, appearing on the cover of Playboy magazine, stepping onto the television stage, and gradually conquering the showbiz world. A new star was born, not from the spotlight, but from a fateful look. When Barbi Benton first started making headlines, many people thought she was just a Playboy beauty with a halo. But then Hee-Haw appeared, and all stereotypes were immediately turned upside down. In this hit musical comedy series, Barbi not only showed off her breathtaking beauty, but also revealed a talent that made the entertainment industry wary. She knew how to make the audience laugh, knew when to be seductive, and most of all, she knew how to stand on stage as if it was made for her. Hee-Haw was not just a television stage, it was where Barbi Benton escaped the shadow of a model to become a full-fledged entertainment star. But she didn't stop there. With clear ambition and unbridled energy, Barbi continued to attack the small screen, appearing in hit American series such as The Love Boat, Fantasy Island, and Chips. Even though it was just a guest role, every time she appeared, she made viewers unable to take their eyes off her, partly because of her bright face that lit up the camera lens, and partly because of her inexplicable charm. Barbi Benton was no longer Hefner's girlfriend. No longer another Playboy face. She was a phenomenon, an entertainment icon who knew how to master the stage, television, and her own image in a powerful and breathtakingly attractive way. Although she conquered the small screen and entertainment stages with her irreplaceable beauty and charisma, Barbi Benton's most brilliant career mark came from an unexpected place: music, and more specifically, country music. In a bold move, almost contrary to the image of a sex symbol that the public had framed, Barbi decided to step into the world of country, a harsh genre that requires emotional depth and real voice. It was not the realm of glamorous covers or flashy stage lights, but a place where artists had to convince with their inner strength. And then, like a beautiful shock, Barbi Benton not only did it, but did it better than expected. Throughout the 1970s, she released 4 country albums, continuously making her mark in the competitive music industry. But the moment that made critics wary was when the hit Brass Buckles shot straight into the top 5 of the Billboard country charts at the end of 1975. She did what few believed possible: turned skepticism into admiration. And then in 1976, the peak of music exploded with Ain't That Just the Way. Not only was this song a hit in the US, it also shattered all expectations when it dominated the charts in Sweden for many weeks. It was no longer the success of a Playboy model trying her hand at singing, but the true victory of an artist who dared to step out of prejudice, stand firm on her own strength, and make the whole world listen. After nearly a decade of living in the spotlight, lavish parties, and power surrounding the Playboy mansion, where every secret had a price and every gaze had a target, Barbi Benton did the unexpected. She disappeared from the whirlpool of fame, in a strangely serene way. In 1976, she and Hugh Hefner, her lover, sponsor, and also the symbol of power of an entire era, ended the relationship that had consumed countless newspapers. But there were no tears, no scandals. Just a light farewell, like the last note of a love song that had come to an end. 3 years later, Benton stunned the entertainment world when she suddenly married George Grado, a real estate businessman who had nothing to do with Hollywood, no glamour, no stage. And perhaps, that was why he was the place she chose to stop. Amidst the powerful and complex men of showbiz, Grado emerged as a rare, humble, down-to-earth, and peaceful place for Benton to be herself. They stepped away from the spotlight. They chose Aspen, Colorado, where mountains and snow replaced flashbulbs and red carpets. There, Barbi Benton began a whole new chapter, a woman designing her own world. The house she lived in, which she had designed herself, was a work of art, modern, unconventional, filled with light and reflecting her eccentric yet aesthetic personality. And then in 1986, when her first daughter was born, Barbi not only retired from the entertainment industry, she retired with pride. It was not the end, but the proactive choice of a woman who had once dominated the spotlight, now choosing to master her own life. No longer living to be seen, but living to love, create, and return to what she most desired: peace. There are no more flashing lights, no more vibrant music on stage. But for Bobbie Benton, the biggest stage of her life is now the cozy kitchen, the design table where she draws her dream living space, or quiet walks through the pine forest with her devoted husband. Occasionally, she still appears at a few lavish events, just enough for the public to whisper, "Barbie," but she has never let herself be pulled back into the flashy but cold showbiz machine. Barbie clearly understands the halo that once gave her everything, and also demanded almost everything. She chose to retreat, but did not disappear. She chose to live quietly, but not fade away. In a world where privacy is a valuable commodity, Bobbie Benton makes that luxury a reality, living like an ordinary woman, loving family, loving freedom, and loving herself. For many, that silence is a loss. But for Barbie, it is the pinnacle of freedom. No one controls, no one defines, just a woman writing the script for her own life. And if you also find that journey admirable like an inspirational movie, please like and subscribe so you don't miss out on surprising stories, where the true light comes from within, not the spotlight.